Hello everyone, and welcome to the Dice Commando YouTube channel. I'm Andrew, with you here as always. This is Go Again, a fabulous video cast covering the trading card game Flesh and Blood. This video and others like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. Please show your support with a like and subscribe, and be sure to hit the bell notification icon so you don't miss any new videos. If you want to get involved with the channel, consider becoming a channel member. There are many benefits to channel membership, including access to our Discord, exclusive deck tech and strategy videos, and the opportunity to help create channel content. I want to sincerely thank all our channel members, as I truly couldn't do this without your support. You guys rock. Go Commando.
Hey Fab folks, welcome back to Go Again, a fabulous cast. Andy with you here as always. Thanks for joining me today. So when Prism, the Illusionist new class for Monarch, was spoiled, I admit I didn't really get it. I kind of thought she was weird. I thought there was going to be a lot of work, right? It's like, I have to poop out these tokens and then keep the tokens alive to turn them into attacks. And it just, to me, it seemed like a lot of work for not necessary. I mean, sure, a huge payoff, but it just seemed like too many moving parts to actually be functional. But as the rest of her cards started getting spoiled, it became clear that there was a different way to play her, like a second way to play her that to me just seems good. You basically just sit back and throw these giant haymakers across the table at your opponent, and if they pop them, great. If they don't, they take it in the face. So join me today as I do a breakdown, kind of a summary of the new Illusionist, Prism, and why I think the haymaker strategy is the way to go. Hey folks, thanks for joining me again today. We're now in the third and final week of spoils going on right now. It's going a little slower. We're starting to see the different stuff, the mentors the last couple days, and there's a lot going on. But now that we've seen really kind of the most of Prism's cards, I think we have a pretty fair idea of how to play her. So let's just go ahead and throw Prism up. So once per turn instant, for 2, banish a card from her soul and create a Spectral Shield token. Okay, Spectral Shield is an aura, and it stays in play until it's destroyed. If your hero would be dealt damage, instead destroy the shield and prevent one source that would deal. Now, do note, that's not a may, right? So you do have to sack it, right? And that kind of starts to lead into why originally I was like, I don't know about this, because you don't have the choice whether or not to do this, right? So for 2, you're really blocking for the 2 pitch on her. You're really putting in something that can block 1, but it's not your choice. So inherently, that's already a question. And of course, then we go to the Iris of Reality, which is her weapon. During your action phase, Illusionist auras you control are weapons with 4 attack, and once per turn for 3, go again, right? So you can see, the strategy if you have a bunch of these auras out. I mean, you don't need too many because it's a pitch 3, right? But you have a couple of these auras out, and you turn them into weapons, and you just send them across the table and just plow your opponent to death, right? Great. But again, hitting back to the Spectral thing, you don't have the option whether or not to pop it or not. So you have to somehow be preventing that damage from being dealt to begin with. So it's a very interesting. It's an interesting strategy. I think it'll speak to some people in terms of trying to set up those major combo turns. But from a functional standpoint, I think it's a lot of work for not as much payoff as her other strategy. So her other strategy that I'm specifically speaking to is really just the Phantasm strategy. So what I'm showing right now is Herald of Ravages, just an example card. She has a ton of these, by the way. So there are no shortage of them whatsoever. So Phantasm. If a Phantasm is defended by a non-Illusionist attack action with 6 or more, destroy Herald of Ravages or destroy the Phantasm card and close the combat chain, right? So that's important. We'll talk a bit about the combat chain here in a little bit and what that means. But so these type of attacks, what we've seen for all of them, and there are quite a few of them, is that they're huge. Now, these are what I'm referring to as the haymakers, right? The haymaker is just a large diving punch, right? So the drawback here, obviously, in terms of what's being built in, is that they can really hurt you. Your opponent can hurt you badly if you block with a 6. However, my argument here is that it's not as bad as you think. Now, I mean, obviously, if you're trying to do some go wide type, like, don't get me wrong, having them just defend one card and shut you down, literally shut you down for your turn, isn't great. On the other hand, if you're drawing their sixes out of their hand, like, you're drawing their big attacks out of their hand. So it's not really the end of the world either, right? I mean, if you're playing somebody like Brute or something like that, or Guardian, where they have a lot of them, sure, maybe that puts you in trouble. But I think for the most part, fishing out, I think overall, many times when you're fishing out that six, I think the six or more, I think it's okay for you, right? That they're then going to have less options available on their turn. Because remember, a lot of these decks, if they're in a lot of decks, if you're going to be playing sixes and big hits, you also need a lot of 3-pitch cards. So if they're spending their six or more to defend, in a lot of cases they're going to be left with a handful of really just pitch type cards. So again, like I'm saying, that there is certainly a drawback to this, and it's built into the card. And I'm not a crazy person, I get that. I'm just saying that there is a positive too if they shut you down as well, in that you fished out that big card. Because what it does is think about it this way. It selectively reduces their options of defending, right? In most cases, let's say your opponent has a 4-card hand with 3 3s and a 2, right? They would get to, in terms of defense, they would get to strategically choose which cards they want to defend with. In this case, when you're throwing this big bomb on the table, they are now forced to defend with a specific card or cards in their hand, right? So that's what I'm saying, is that having this pop and having this blow up isn't necessarily the worst thing, because it still has given you some sort of advantage. And then we move into this blinding beam, right? So this is a common, this is a full set, this is light, but it's a full set of cards. For one, and it costs 1 less play shadow card, which by the way is not irrelevant for Brute. But target attacking or defending action card gets -3, and then the corresponding pitches are -2, -1. But in a lot of cases, that -1 is all you need, right? Because it's been ruled, and I'll put up the ruling again, but the rule didn't change, but it's been ruled that you can respond to their played card with this, meaning that you can actually reduce the played card before it pops a Phantasm. So even the 3-pitch blinding beam, if they throw a 6, you turn it into a 5, and no longer does it pop, right? Then they're defending with just the 3 base or the 2 base or whatever it was, the defense on that card. So with this instant, you're inherently throwing a lot of problems their way. And keep in mind, like I said, because the 3-pitch is completely valid, you play the red pitch, you play the yellow pitch, you play the blue pitch. Illusionist packs all these. It's either 9 or 6 cards. So you got a full suite. There's going to be a lot of turns that you're able to really do this in severe safety, right? I think you're going to be just okay. All right, so moving on, like there are a lot of these, and if you go and you actually look at all the cards that have been spoiled, the other very interesting thing about the haymakers is that most of them are rare and common, and there's a lot of them available. So this is almost like a budget-esque strategy as compared to a lot of the auras that she was showing are Majestics. And we have Herald of Triumph here, which I think is a pretty good one, because attack action cards have -1 while defending it, which means that they have to defend this with a 7 in order to pop it. And this is rare. It's got a full suite. We also have Wartune Herald. No big deal. Just a 1 for 7, right? And again, it's Phantasm. And if it hits, put it into your soul. That's not irrelevant, because charging her soul lets her play things like the FU and the A Cataclysm, right? Now, those are just the light Illusionist cards. If we go into the generic Illusionist cards, we have cards like this one. Now, this one is a Majestic, but Phantasmaclasm. When you play it, look at the defending hero's hand and choose a card. They put it on the bottom of their deck and draw a card. So you can go in and snipe their 6, and yeah, maybe they draw it, but hey, go in, snipe their 6, and make life even harder for them. This is a 3 for 9, and you can go swipe their 6. This card's crazy good. Crazy, crazy, crazy good. So again, I hope you're starting to see why I'm really hot on this strategy for Illusionist. Like, why am I going to put in all these work to like drop these tokens and then try and keep the tokens in play and then swing with them, when I can just go kaboom, 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 every turn. And sometimes they're going to defend, I'm going to throw something in their way, and then now they have to defend more or just take it to the face when they thought they were going to get out of it. So, yeah, big deal. Oh, and let's not forget Enigma Chimera, 2 for 8. I mean, there's no other effects, super boring, but it's a 2 for 8. Like, whoa. And then Spears of Surreality. Go again, 1 for 5. Oh, just 1 for 5? Like, who looks at a 1 for 5 with Go Again and is like, this is one of the weaker ones? Wow. Crazy. All right, so I promised we would talk about kind of the, right, so remember it says if the Phantasm is defended by a non-illusionist attack action card with 6 or more, destroy it and close the combat chain. So what that means is even if in this case, Spears of Reality has Go Again, right? And that's why I wanted to finish with this card. Spears of Reality has Go Again, but doesn't matter if it has Go Again. If they block this with a 6, it closes the chain. So even if you have Go Again, the chain becomes closed. Now, I do want to point out, if for whatever reason you have additional action points, you could continue playing, right? So if you're playing, for example, Lead the Charge, the next time you play an action card with cost X or greater this turn, gain 1 action point, Go Again. So you lead the charge into your Phantasm, they throw their 6, they block it, ends it, okay, I can't go again or anything like that, but I have a floating action point, which I can then throw another big haymaker down. Right? You also have your time snap potions. There are a lot of different ways to make this happen in the event that they do block. And again, remember, every time they do this, you're fishing out their big attacks, which is going to just make their next turn harder, and you get to drop and defend. And again, you only need a pitch and 1 card to throw this haymaker. This girl is really strong. So again, that's my take on her and how to play her and what I'm thinking. Again, I'm well open to the feedback and what everybody else is thinking. And don't get me wrong, the strategy where you like go wide and just plow your opponent 1 turn, that sounds super fun. But in terms of reliability and repeatability, I think she's really in a good spot. So anyway, that's my take. Let me know what you were thinking. What am I missing here? Am I a crazy person? I don't know. Let me know. So anyway, thanks for joining me today, folks. Just want to remind everybody, we've had all the announcements with the Blitz decks. Those all came out just the day I'm shooting this. So if you're trying to figure out how to get the Blitz decks, don't forget that I get all of my sealed product from Gone Guy Games. You can use code Commando10 at checkout even for 10% off of your purchase. They do free shipping on larger orders over $25, I believe. Good people over there. Go check them out. Also, my friend over at Fab Foundry, he handles all the singles that you're going to need for the new set. When you go over there, remember to use the link below, and I get actually a small kickback from anything you purchase there, which can help me buy more stuff to keep supporting Fab on the channel. So anyway, thanks again for joining me today, folks. Make sure to like and subscribe. Really building a great Fab community over here. Love to have you be a part of it. If nothing else, folks, go Commando.